Let's unlock the three brain problem in meditation using easy steps. And of course, this is reminiscent of the three body problem, hence Geeks at Play. This evening's lesson is drawn from the question of a good-hearted student who is curious about the triune brain theory. In the 70s, the triune brain theory gained traction. It seemed to be the love child of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and old school neurology, positing that our brain stem was about the functioning of our brain, respiration, and the like. That the limbic system was about emotion, and that the prefrontal cortex was about reason. But there are some therapists, some theorists who were more psychologists and less neurologists, took some liberties with this, assuming that, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or like the Kundalini, like the myth of Kundalini yoga, first we would tend to our existence needs, then we would deal to our interpersonal needs, then we would deal with our intellectual needs. And that sounds fine when you're in a very comfy wing chair, maybe for a roaring fire, thinking deep thoughts. But all thoughts must be tested with with the rigors of the scientific method. And as such, through the advent of the functional magnetic resonance imaging, we've learned that even though the brain has discrete areas where certain functions take place, through the neural network, our whole brain lights up. Our brain works in cooperation. So even though our blood might hang out in our amygdala, or our blood might hang out in our anterior cingulate gyrus, or we might focus on active concentration or active contemplation, it's on one hand, there is congestion of blood, there is a coalescence of electrical activity, but there's also ancillary electrical activity. There is cooperative electrical activity. The whole brain works in cooperation. Way back when, I had a conversation with a physical therapist who was also a bodybuilder. And his mentor told him that muscular isolation was a myth, a fever dream of steroid-addled bodybuilders. Our muscles evolved to work in cooperation. Our organs evolved to work in cooperation. Same thing with the discrete areas of our nervous system. They work in cooperation. Nothing takes place in a perfect vacuum. And yes, there are times when different areas are relied upon and emphasized more, but not to the perfect exclusion of everything else. We all have controlling tendencies. Even infants strive to manipulate the giants that tend to them through laughter and wailing. So it is not surprising that in an effort to seek a magic bullet for our emotional maladies, we would hitch our star upon a notion that just one part of the brain is the culprit. Fortunately, there are whole brain solutions to our emotions. At one point today, when I was lying down for my disco nap, I was having a flashback that was emotionally disturbing. At the moment, it eludes me. But the solution I implemented does not. I used the meditation of the 5 perceptions and the meditation of the 5 thoughts. And this is something we often review. I plan on practicing it during tonight's class. So during the inhalation, perhaps for 3 repetitions, we could silently and mentally recite sense. And then during the exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite ease. Sense comments on our perception. The verb ease in cooperation with our exhalation and the parasympathetic nervous system helps us relax. And so being vulnerable to our senses and relaxing over the span of 3 breaths, being vulnerable to flavor and then relaxing, being vulnerable to sound and then relaxing, being vulnerable to scent and then relaxing, being vulnerable to sight and then relaxing, helps us to process not just our present moment perceptions, but our memories and imaginings and confabulations. But wait, there's more. This is an excellent hors d'oeuvre, but a poor main course for the rigors of emotion and imagination and memory. And so we bring out the big guns, the big boys, the 5 thoughts, and it's the same basic process. Being vulnerable to emotion as we inhale, and then relaxing with our exhalation. Being vulnerable to our intentions, and then relaxing. Being vulnerable to our thoughts, be they wise or be they dull, and relaxing. Being vulnerable to our emotions, be they pleasurable or painful. Being vulnerable to our intentions, being it malicious or kind. Being vulnerable to our memories, glorious or grotesque. Being vulnerable to our imaginings, useful or not. This thing plugs into the 3-ring circus that is our central nervous system, allowing the autonomic nervous system latent within our spinal cord to be the traffic cop, organizing the flow and the dance between the various regions of our brain. For our job is not to control our brain. Our job is not to control our experience, but to notice it and release and transcend the resistance that tends to suck the joy out of life. I do look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This evening, let's return to our text, Kind Gaze's Easy Meditation. And kind gaze is not some god or goddess to worship or supplicate, but merely an archetype whose iconography reminds us that due to the happy coincidences of evolution, we are already wired to master awareness and letting go, bliss and letting go, as well as love and letting go. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Just like cooking a pancake or some matzo bro, we're going to flip and flop between silent meditation and mantra meditation. So let's review the meaning of the mantra together. Thank you, Kevin. To you, I give a Yoda high 5. I guess would be a high 3. Together. Om, I invoke the wish of ending money, jewel of love, and the purifying pay me lotus of letting go. Thank you, Kevin and James. You guys are the super twins. Shape of a good-hearted fellow. Form of the next Buddha. Om, I invoke the wish of ending money, jewel of love, and the purifying pay me lotus of letting go. Supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. Our first of many exercises would fit into the category of bliss and letting go. In Tibet, it is known as Lama Kyano, which could be translated into English as calling the teacher as from afar. In this image, the brass figure is reminiscent of our own enlightened potential, and this copulating couple literally represents the teachings and figuratively represents the real or imagined sensations of energy experienced either upon the crown or perhaps a form's length above it. Now, the key to transforming mindless mantra recitation into profitable mantra meditation is twofold. During the inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite this italicized bit. Ooh, look at this. Look at here. And during the exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. And please do give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om mani me me um, 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 om mani me me um. Om mani me me um, 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 om mani me me um. We now turn our attention to our first exercise of awareness and letting go. We begin with mindfulness. As I mentioned many times, every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are accessing the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It evolved not to indulge either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration, but instead to merely notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Yes, to wax poetic, we could insist that vulnerability is the key that unlocks the door of mindfulness. Perhaps that is why Samantabhadra and Samantabhadri are depicted as naked. Well, you might say, if we're not supposed to actively concentrate upon our breath, then what describes our relationship to our breath? How about we treat our breath the way a piano student treats their metronome? As we notice our body breathing in, we could silently and mentally recite, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. And as we notice our body exhaling, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. So we can do this 12 to 16 times. And to make that make sense, I'd like to share with you briefly the idea of Bengali crease counting. Consider, if you will, your left palm. Each finger contains places we can count using our left thumb. We can count 1 or 2 creases on each finger for a total of 8. We can count 3 creases on each finger for a total of 12. We can count 3 creases and a tip on each finger for a total of 16. In the time it takes me to count 16 breaths, you might only get to 8 or 12. That's just because I'm breathing quicker because of all this jibber jabbering. Oh, Kevin, the Wonder Twins. What what permutation did I come up with in my frenzy? Let us turn our attention to the outer set of preliminary practices together. Those who tread that path of Devadatta use the awareness of stress to frighten folks into an analog of morality. But upon this path of the Buddha, the awareness of other stress feels or empathy. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Ah, yes. Well, Kevin, thank you for not taking back my geek card and tearing it up. Impressive. Yes, 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 that monkey creature that flew, right? Those who tread that path of Devadatta use the awareness of causality to frighten folks into a form of moral code. But upon this path of the Buddha, the awareness of interdependence reminds us that our love could lighten others' loads. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Kevin, your memory is impeccable. Those who tread that path of Devadatta use the awareness of impermanence to promote a fear-driven practice, although upon this path of the Buddha, the awareness of change could fuel or awareness of letting go. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Mani mimi yung mani mimi. Oopsie, got a little carried away, got a little happy. Those who tread that path of Devadatta use the awareness of the preciousness of all meditation opportunities to frighten folks into neurotic diligence. But upon this path of the Buddha, we joyfully flow from the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. We return to awareness and letting go. We begin by reviewing mindfulness. Every time we inhale, we're wired to notice sight, sound, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. Additionally, we're wired to notice emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We can notice the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. This begs the musical question, what are we to do with all this stuff? The answer is meditate, but how does that work? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we access the parasympathetic nervous system, and it's also found in the spinal cord, specifically in the lower lumbar region and the tippy top of the cervical region. This bad boy has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. See? Both the physical and the mental occurring remotely, or being accessed remotely in our spinal cord. It's crazy. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was could begin to feel less graspable. Now, because all complex life forms on this planet have evolved to think symbolically, let us add some figurative language into the mix. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. Now, any good English teacher will tell you our similes have got to be relatable. So, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? Sing along with me if you know the lyrics. How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless day, which although could be tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand? Perhaps that is why Kuntu Zangpo and Kuntu Zangmo Yabyum are depicted as if translucent and as non-graspable as a rainbow. As we inhale, let us silently and mentally recite sitting tall, thus inviting our body to generate a vertical traction between our tuchus and our head. During our exhalation, please silently and mentally recite the 3-syllable verb relaxing, or if you want to be fancy, relaxing. Let us graduate to the inner set of preliminary practices, and although they're called preliminary, they are a complete spiritual practice. All we did was spend this evening practicing the first 10 exercises. That would be a complete practice. I'm so certain of it that I would stake Kevin's reputation on it. In our empathy, may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of hating, craving, and confusion. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. In our pragmatism, may all liberation of all others be fueled by your reliance on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Rather than squander all time and energy in defensiveness, how much wiser could it be to learn from all mistakes and lessons that effortlessly flow from the centered spontaneity of mindfulness and meditation. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. A life squandered in competition and greed leads not to peace and fulfillment. Better to live in cooperation and generosity. At life's end may this mind shoot out crowns, and then offer all my stuff to all the beings of nirvana and samsara. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Returning to awareness and letting go. Let us explore the first of two fringe benefits of mindfulness and meditation. When we rely on active concentration as well as active contemplation, our blood seems to gather at the base of our limbic system at a piece of something the size of a pea that we call the amygdala. It functions as the seat of anxiety and aggression and makes us into a cranky bastard. However, when we replace active concentration with passive mindfulness, when we replace active contemplation with passive meditation, forsaking yang and inhabiting yin, our blood shifts to a hunk of meat described as our prefrontal cortex. Located just a few centimeters behind our forehead, it functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, you see. For ages, the Dzogchen Lamas have insisted that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. Perhaps that is why all good one, mother and father, are depicted as beautiful. During our inhalation, Let us silently and mentally recite, notice this. During our exhalation, please silently and mentally recite, relaxing. And you might say, well, Lama Jigme, you repeat yourself a lot. You think we're stupid? No. I'm just grooving with Pink Floyd's reference to the softly spoken magic spell. We now come to this evening's second exercise of bliss and letting go, described in Sanskrit as Guru Yoga and in Tibetan as Lama Nal Jor. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Returning to awareness and letting go, let us explore the second fringe benefit of mindfulness meditation. Please consider the active manner in which this gal, the color of a cumulus cloud, wantonly sports in tantric union, thus reminding us that contrivance is always trumped by spontaneity. Consider now her partner passively enjoying the same tantric union, reminding us that not all spontaneity is created equal, and that the scattered spontaneity you might experience during your third espresso is always trumped by the centered spontaneity that is the product, the fringe benefit of mindfulness and meditation. Additionally, when our choices, utterances, and deeds flow with the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, our life could feel as if it was as blissful as the real or imagined paradise or pure land of a real or imagined Buddha. During our inhalation, please silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During our exhalation, please silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Having climbed to contemplative cruising altitude together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. We now, having practiced the preliminaries, we now enter the gate of Tantra, bringing the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized as we leapfrog over jealousy. Those who tread that path of Devadatta squander time and energy with contrivances of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. Upon this path of the Buddha, we simply recite these words in harmony with all breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. May all minds of all beings now be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one syllable zero bija mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddhist communication symbolized by the six-syllable mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddhist thought, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Devi or Yidam and archetype of enlightenment such as Chenrezig. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon, as the moon is real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vanti. Quick reminder that wishing love is the second fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Returning to awareness and letting go, we recall how all good one is a wonderful reference to our Buddha nature. Every healthy adult complex life form is just like all good one. For we too are wired for mindfulness, wired for meditation, wired for empathy. As we inhale, let us kick back and watch the play of mind as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During our exhalation, let us relax into the non-graspable nature of mind as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb is. Viewing letting go through a physiological lens. Aha. Let us view letting go through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized as we leap over pride. Those who tread the path of Devadatta, caught in the thrall of rigidity, confuse metaphors for literal statements. Upon this path of the Buddha, we relax into flexibility, savoring the chants that explain the metaphors as similes. As we inhale, we can notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined bija seeds edible of light. Om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um. As we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech can sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined mantra of light. Om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined octuple yidam of light. Om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um om mani mimi um mani mimi um As we inhale, all circumstances our lots could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they can feel as non-graspable of what is a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Now let us view. Now let us view letting go through a philosophical lens. As we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. All circumstances, all loss could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this body or form. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. All forms of bodies could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this communicational speech. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. All interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this mind. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. All minds melted. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent As if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into my vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Aha. I spy with my little eye. Let us bring the 5 body regions into the path of bliss and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined, amagosa discernible of green light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. I will be delighted to answer your questions for you, or at least those questions for you. Together, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever navel we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to appear as non-graspable as real or imagined, Ratna Sambhava, syllable drum of gold light. Om mani mimi yung, om mani mimi yung, om mani mimi. So I should give you a quick explanation. The way to transform mere mantra recitation into mantra meditation is simple. During the inhalation, we silently and mentally recite this italicized statement, which is the synopsis of that which we chanted on the previous page. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can, whilst striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever chest we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined, nakshobhyasarable hunga blue light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever threat we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined Amitabha syllable free of red light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever Kronos cup we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined Vajrayana syllable of white light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Again, let's practice awareness and letting go. Having done the heavy lifting of chanting the mantra 32 times, during our inhalation, let us kick back and watch the play of mind as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. As we exhale, let's physically relax into the non-graspable nature of mind, or into mind's non-graspable nature, as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Let us bring the 5 perceptions into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sight we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mani me me yung, mani me me yung, mani me me yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sound we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sense we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Together, let's chant. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever flavor we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. So here's the trick to transform mindless mantra recitation into spiritually productive mantra meditation. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite this italicized synopsis of that which we just chanted on the previous page. And during our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. And please be kind to yourself and give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sensation we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Having chanted the mantra 32 times, we could, during our inhalation, we could kick back and simply watch the play of mind, as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During our exhalation, we could relax into mind's non-graspable nature, as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Let us bring the 5 mental poisons, which sounds very scary, into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hate we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as mirror-like wisdom's clear void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pride we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as the equalizing wisdom of primordial voidness. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever craving we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as descending wisdom's bliss void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as all-accomplishing wisdom's void intellect. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever confusion we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as all-pervasive wisdom's awareness void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let's bring the 5 aggregates into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever body or form we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 oh mani mimi yung, oh mani mimi yung, oh mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever feeling, such as pleasure, pain, or other we might have noticed during our inhalation, could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. One moment, if you please. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever appraisal of pleasure, of pain's intensity, or volume we might have noticed during our inhalation, could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever impulse, such as pushing, pulling, or clinging we might have noticed during our inhalation, could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever awareness of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, or imagination we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us bring the five thoughts into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever emotion we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel is not graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever intention we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel is not graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever cognition we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever recollection we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever imagination we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us transcend let us transcend the illusion of samsara and nirvana's vertical duality by metaphorically inviting all the real or imagined Buddhas, their paradises, and their denizens to dwell in the 84,000 pores of our skin, thus practicing the body mandala of dualities, awareness, and non-dualities, release. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us bring the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us seal this evening's practice with a love that wishes for the universal mastery of Buddha's Eightfold Path. May old master change in wishing, love as well as kind communication, conduct, and commerce. May old master the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity as well as mindfulness and meditation. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.